Hello, friends. So today I just want to talk about rejection reasons, specifically asylum visas. I have seen in my practice what happens. People who are applying for visas, who are our clients, they end up holding certain information. Now, you as a client might think that that information is not necessarily relevant, but for us as people who are assisting you in making those visas, I would suggest to discuss all and any possible combination of documents and information with your caseworker or your consultant or your advocate or solicitor, whomever it may be, right? Second thing which I have faced personally, fake documents. I know it's the time for AI. I know it's the time when you can edit things online. Probably I've even seen people hand editing things. Please don't do that. It would make sure that even if you have a very wonderful application, you might be an asylum seeker in a very dire strait, but just because you made one mistake, your application will be rejected. Make sure that you supply all original and or translated documents properly. Please communicate with whomever is your consultant or caseworker or advocate, so whoever is that person. Then I've also seen a lot of people asking what could be other reasons for visa rejection, especially asylum seekers. One of the major reasons is actually the sponsor. Many times I have asked people to get me a sponsor. So when I ask that, I actually mean someone whom you know over there and not someone who you essentially get in connection with for the specific purpose of sponsoring you. Remember, someone who's going to sponsor you has to say that they will take care of you for that particular time period in that country. They would take care of your flight expenses. They would take care of your residential expenses until you actually get a job. So it is better to have someone whom you know or are in connection with for some time being, as opposed to coming out of the spur of the moment. And then later on, what does tend to happen, so what they would do is when they are doing their application and when they are getting a call, they might do a mistake on their end, or they might say they do not know you. They might change their mind, and then your whole application goes down the drain. So please don't do that. Make sure you have strong connections with your sponsor. Also, the fact that there are certain policy issues which could come in between the application. It's a very different time period than it was 5 years ago or even 2 years ago. I would suggest keep yourself abreast of all the legal and all the political changes that are happening. I've seen people applying for visas, and then all of a sudden, a new policy measure comes in, and that policy measure leads to cancellation of a visa or the cancellation of the whole visa program for that matter. That does happen. It is always better to update yourself as we keep on updating ourselves. But there are certain internal policy measures which unfortunately do not come out in the news. And that could be one of the reasons why your visa was and or is rejected, because they are secret and confidential information which is not given out to the public. And the last and the worst bit, which I have seen personally with close people who have actually applied for a visa, the caseworker. In this scenario, your caseworker, the person who's going to agree or disagree to your visa, if that person does not feel that they to give you a visa, they can give any logical reason and then reject your visa. Unfortunately, a lot of visas do not have an appeals procedure, and that's where your visa gets stuck. I would highly suggest pray as much as you can and hope that you do get a good caseworker. I'll tell you, as a caseworker, you are given a set of guidelines. You're essentially taking the lens of the law and the guidances that you're provided. You're going to use that. And within that lens, you're going to look at that particular case. And that happens for almost all the cases. But sometimes it might happen that something slips through. It might also happen that you think you have a very strong case, like everyone does, but the caseworker does not think so. And hence your visa is rejected. It is a sad situation. It might be devastating to certain families. It might put you down or make you feel depressed, but trust me, that's not the end of the world. You have come till here. If you have been able to connect to someone, if you have been able to apply, if you have been able to do something till now, then I'm pretty sure there's a very good chance you would be able to get it somewhere else. Do not be disheartened. That is my